Woohoo! That's a pretty darn cool intro. I just love the music to that. Woohoo! So we are live, special live event today. Tristan and I are back by popular demand doing Level Up Your Live with StreamYard. So this is a totally Ask Me Anything show. Anybody has any questions, we're going to be monitoring the chat. If you specifically have a question, is like, we love comments too, but if you specifically have a question, make sure you put question dash, and then that just helps us pop through the chat quicker and we can see everything. So Tristan, let's just jump right in. So why don't you introduce yourself just in case people don't know who you are, and let's then just get rolling.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks for having me on again, Gillian. Really looking forward to it. We're going to cram as much in as possible. So if I start to talk too fast, let me know in the comments because I can see all of those. I'm Tristan Griffiths. I run a digital marketing agency called in9.media. I'm going to be running you through all the bits and pieces behind why we like StreamYard, what you can do with it, some repurposing, why you should live stream. We've got a few other bits I'm going to share. Those who recognize my background from my own streams will notice that I'm not where I usually am, which is, again, something I'll share, why it's so important to have something like StreamYard so you can then leverage the live stream wherever you are, and that's relevant across mobile and across desktop. And so yeah, we're just going to talk about that. So any questions around live streaming, StreamYard, maybe even just the repurposing of live video and how to do that properly, we're going to fire through that. Gillian's going to keep an eye on the questions, and then we've got a few advanced bits to show you as well, so those who are live streaming. But no question is a stupid question. If you need the answer, someone else watching might want to know but won't ask the question, so do ask the question, and then obviously we'll pick out as many as we can. We'll go through that, an hour jam-packed with tips, advice, and walking you through everything, and we're going to do some actual demo stuff as well.
So let's talk about setup first, because I think that's the most important thing. So okay, so this is really fun because, you know, I'm kind of like simple, easy peasy. And you're like, you could like, you know, put a satellite into space with what you've got going on over there. So I'll pop up all the stuff in a second. So I am basically, here's what I've got. I've got a laptop. I just got a MacBook Pro. I got a microphone. I'm wearing earbuds, ring light, webcam. That's it. And I can go on the road with my setup, probably because I'm of no fixed address still. So, you know, it's like I don't have a studio. And I keep it very, very straightforward. But let's talk about your setup. So shall I go ahead and bring in all your bits and bobs? That's what I love saying about the Brits, bits and bobs.
So I'll talk through really quickly for everyone. So on my main camera, you will have seen this up here. I actually work with a company called Iographer, which basically means this is just a mount for my iPhone. So I've got an iPhone up here, which is obviously the camera behind me. So that is a mobile that's coming in as the back camera. So you should see that in the bottom left. And that is literally just in the browser, in Safari. Very easy for a guest to do that on their mobile and join. So when Gillian talks about being out on mobile and doing it, even without a laptop, you can do that just coming in straight on a stream. So that's up there. I've then got I'm away from home, so I haven't got my fancy camera. So I'm literally just on the inbuilt webcam. So apologies for the terrible quality of this camera, which is the one on my laptop. I'm on a MacBook, as you'll see on the bottom screen. And then the camera from the front further back is actually, it's actually just an iPhone in a mount. So if I need to lean that way, sorry. You'll see another mount over there with a ring light, and then I've got a phone in. But you'll actually notice there's two phones here. I'm not going to tell you why just yet. If you've heard me talk before, you might know what the second phone is about. It's not a camera that we're using now, but it is something that I will heavily encourage all of you to do if you've got an old mobile or anything like that. We'll be talking about that a little bit later on, about why the second one's important. You can see the NASA bit over here that Gillian's talking about. There's lots of flashy coloured lights going on here. That's basically a sound deck that allows me to control my audio. So if Gillian says I'm a bit quiet, I can bump my volume up. Gillian and I had a bit of a giggle. You won't see it because I'm sat in the way of it, but I think on the bottom right one, you can see there's actually my work hoodie is holding my microphone because I brought everything except for the clip for the table. So obviously to stop the vibrations, it's just sat on my jumper as a dampener. And we tested quickly the audio before to make sure it was okay. So we've got my mic there running into a Rodecaster, which is just like a mixer that allows me to control my audio. None of this is necessary to be able to go live, but when you start to level up and you want to look at different things, the Rodecaster actually allows me to record the audio independently of the live stream as well. So I can record my audio straight into the mixer, which is it's a fail safe. So I always try to get as much out of a live stream or a video as possible, and doing that, having multiple pieces. So like I'm obviously already getting 3 different camera angles going on here and bits and pieces, and then I'll show you the extra stuff that I do beyond this, and not just beyond as in during it. We'll do some stuff afterwards as well, which Gillian and I will share with you as we go through. So that's my setup, but I can also literally just pick up the phone and just go. So literally grab the phone and go and do a live stream. Anyone who follows me will have seen me on a farm waiting to go and see a friend the other morning. I just literally straight out, no excuses, sometimes with the tripod, sometimes just in my hand, and just go live. And it's about just getting it done, and then obviously leveling it up, which is obviously what today's stream is about.
Now, if you go live from a phone, should you turn it?
So if you're doing stuff in StreamYard, or if you're doing lives, obviously you want to interact, you want to have that conversation. So obviously you're going to need the screen towards you, because you need to be able to see the comments and things like that. And in StreamYard on the mobile, you can control everything within the screen. Obviously the camera quality of the front, similar to, you'll notice the 2 phone cameras are way better, because I'm using the front, so it's technically the back camera, the one that you normally take photos on, that's not the screen side. That's why the quality is much better here than the one from the the actual MacBook.
That's a good tip for people to recognize, because not everybody knows that there is selfie mode is when you kind of, use the front camera, which is what so many of us do, because you kind of need somebody else to really, otherwise you could make your whole video and you're cutting off your head. So it's more likely we do selfie mode, but it's the back camera that's actually got the better quality.
So I would always say, if you're filming a video, you want to use the back one and get the really high quality. If you're using it like I am, you would do the same, because they're extra cameras and I don't need to see the screen because I'm using a computer to control it, and then I'm just using the camera. But if you're doing everything on the phone, you've got to use the selfie one, the one that you can see with the screen. Otherwise you can't control the comments and see what's happening. So it's basically the way you use it depends on what other tech you're using as well in your environment. So
okay, and you can use Android and iPhone, correct?
So I said that I'm obviously on a MacBook and I've got 2 iPhones here, but you'll notice the phone I held up is actually a Samsung Galaxy Note 9. So I actually I'm a bit over teched. I have like 4 of these for extra camera angles when I want them, because they're quick, easy, light, and the battery life's good. So I can just pop them up, and that they fit in these as well. And then I can just put it up and use the camera. So depends if I'm using one of my phones as a demo as well. So
right.
It works across both.
And then let me just ask you a quick question on that. Sorry, it was a Roadmaster. Is that what it was called? The sound thing?
Yeah, so it's a Rodecaster. So Rodecaster Pro.
Roadmaster. Yeah. We're not worthy. So the Rodecaster, is that something, if I wanted to do like a professional sounding podcast, and that was, because there's one thing to do your LinkedIn lives and then, you repurpose them as a podcast. A lot of us are doing that. But if I just wanted to do a podcast and use StreamYard as my tool for interviewing and creating it, would you recommend that as a piece of equipment for professional podcast people?
So if you're doing things professionally or trying to do the leveling up, which is obviously what we're talking about today, so the benefits of having the Rodecaster is you have way more control. So you can do things like you can have someone ring your mobile and it come through the Rodecaster into the studio, which is something you can't quite easily natively do otherwise without software setups and a fairly powerful machine. So if you're on the road, if you're doing interviews, especially for obviously podcasts, you usually interviewing, talking to other people, you might get an incredible interview. For me, for example, getting Gary Vee on an interview would be one of the ones for me up there that I'd kick myself if I did it and the tech let me down. So having StreamYard, backing it up in the cloud, then also having my Rodecaster, recording the audio in case it ever fell over, like I've still got all of that. The Rodecaster is actually a standalone piece of audio equipment that if I was going to a conference, I could literally take a Rodecaster and a couple of mics and set up a podcast studio with that, 2 microphones and go. And it's a professional setup with all the sound controls to do it. So it's got multiple uses. It records on board, and there's like 4 mics set up on it if you want to put four different connections to it. So 4 connections plus a mobile. And you've got I haven't got it set up, so I'm not going to press any because I don't know which button's which on this one because this has just come out the box today. But you've got sound effects. So if you're someone who does, maybe you do funny podcasts, you can have like laughing and clapping and things like that. If that's your kind of vibe, you can add that all in as well. So it's a great professional tool.
Got it. Okay. So I've already see that we've got comments. Should I hop right over to the comments?
Let's go.
Okay. All right. We've got a lot. Okay. Let's see. Yep. Good. Moves everything up. See, these are kind of some of the things that I really love about StreamYard is that here I'm not putting, I would hate to put comments on top of people's faces. So right now it would have been your back. It's not really a bad thing anyways, but that is something that you can set up in StreamYard to either do or not do. And I guess I did it. so that's kind of nice.
Just while you've got this comment up, Gillian, when we were talking about the professional versus just going and doing it, having the full studio set up or just doing it on your mobile and the fallback. This is what actually my mum, if you don't know, Lynn Blackledge, she's the Go Live granny. She talks about her local community. She live streams carnivals and goes and teaches businesses how to do social. She actually goes out and sometimes, because she lives on the Isle of Wight, there are black spots, which of course is everybody's nightmare if you do live streaming or anything like that. She spent an hour live streaming, and then when the carnival started, there was no signal because everybody was on their phones, everybody was on Facebook Live. But my mum has, because she's been doing it for a long time, she just went, brilliant, no problem. We won't go live because it will be glitchy and it will be not a good experience. So she recorded it instead, so it was good quality, and then uploaded it afterwards. So knowing like that's the part of the 101 of going live is, and especially if you're doing it through mobile, you should actually go into aeroplane mode and out before you go live because it gives you the strongest connection because it's a new connection on the network. And then you should do a speed test. So you can just go to speedtest.net on your mobile and do it. Or there's an app and it tells you your upload speed. And if you're just on your phone, just the one camera, you ideally want a 3 megabytes or above to get a strong, solid connection. And it's the up you're worrying about, not the down. Down is always really high for watching Netflix and all that, but the up is what you need. And so check it. If it's not good, know that that's probably going to be a bad experience for you. You'll get frustrated, and for the viewers. So just bear that in mind.
So let me just back up. So when she recorded it, did she do a StreamYard recording, or did she just record it natively to her phone and then upload it and then stream it later as a recording? What was just explain that.
Yeah, so StreamYard obviously is for live streaming. It's on it uses the cloud. So obviously if you don't have a data connection, you won't get that connection to StreamYard. So that's obviously the restriction. But the benefit of doing it through StreamYard is you get a video file and an audio file. So if you're doing a podcast, it is an audio file ready to go. If you want to post edit, you can also pull down the videos as like you can separate it out and you can start to post edit as well. So that can be really powerful for that.
Okay. Got it. Okay. And she's amazing because, I connected with her after our last live, and then she said, I'm Tristan's mom. And I was like, woo. And she, and we got to know each other, and I just love it. And you had showed me before that sometimes she actually streams to her webpage, which is like something that people don't realize, that while you're co-streaming, you can actually stream and embed your stream into web pages, let alone are you going live to Facebook and, you know, I don't know, the million places you can go live to. Twitch. I don't even know what Twitch is, but it's like you could, you know, I go live to YouTube and LinkedIn. That's enough for me. But you can go, I think, what, 6 places at once. I can't even keep track of it.
You can go to 8 if you're on the professional. 8. When I go live to 8 destinations at a time. So whenever I live stream, I say connect with me as I'm Tristan G across all the socials. Connect wherever you want to. So that means they can watch it on whichever platform as well. So the ones that we can go live to.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So let's go. So thanks, Tristan's mom, for coming on today. That's great. That's great. Okay. We have Dr. Elizabeth, very excited. I know she's very excited about learning. She's brand new coming into live streaming and looking to learn. So perfect for her. Thrilled to be here. Thank you, Nancy. Happy Wednesday. Looking forward to this one.
Hey, Julie. So for anyone who doesn't know, Julie actually works at StreamYard. She runs the social media for StreamYard.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you for coming, Julie. And it's so wonderful to see. So let's back up for a second and explain your connection to StreamYard, because I'm just a customer. So you're like a little bit of royalty. So explain your position of, like, you got a little bit of history with StreamYard, but you're connected to StreamYard. So let's just talk about that for a second.
So as an agency owner, we started documenting all the changes that were happening with StreamYard a long time ago. And now, obviously, when StreamYard decided they wanted to do it internally, obviously, we were already doing that step of it. So we now do that for StreamYard. So we've got like a partnership with StreamYard. So if you're in their community and you see the updates go out, literally, I think the best timing I've ever had is minus 12 minutes before the end of the stream. I've managed to publish just before they finish, because when you've watched enough, you know where the end is finishing. And like when Gage is wrapping up, I'm like, okay, he's not going to ask anything more. And I can literally press the button and it's a challenge. It's like to get it up. And one of the Facebook changes has messed me up a little bit, but I digress on that. So I've done that. Obviously, very early days of StreamYard, before everything was as well documented as it is now on the site, I actually wrote a StreamYard manual and did all the screenshots, went through it, did it. If you probably can still find it. It's a bit out of date now and needs an update in the community, just because people needed to learn it fast and have a reference guide and things like that. And sometimes having the screenshots all laid out makes it really easy. But obviously, as the team has grown, which is the incredible team over there, they're now documenting more and creating the how-to videos and all of that. So there's a lot more resource there. It is actually something I want to go back and do, because it's good for me when I teach other people to be able to go, by the way, there's a digital copy. And I always did it digitally so we could update it as it changed. So we just go in and change the bit that changed and then change the version number so that people knew it had a change and things. So yeah, do that. Obviously, I, as an agency owner, teach how to live stream and how to repurpose that and get the most out of your live stream, hence us being sat here.
Wow. Wow. Amazing. Amazing.
Plus, also, I'm a little bit jealous, Gillian, because I know that you got some bits this week and you have something from StreamYard that I don't have. So I'll have to shout Julie to try and bridge that gap when we get a minute off
what
the
do
screen.
I have that you don't have? I was so like a kid in the candy store yesterday.
Is literally the only item in your box that I didn't have yet. So
which one?
The water bottle.
The water
which, of course,
bottle.
When we get to the repurposing tips, that will be relevant to the repurposing tips.
Yeah, so. It's amazing. It's amazing. I'm totally spoiled rotten, and I've got my duck pillow. I love the duck pillow. It's like right behind me on my back. It's awesome. And I got the duck looking out for me. So and my StreamYard shirt's on. So it's just like I'm totally spoiled here. So this is great. Okay. Hello. It's your mom again. Cool tunes for invite. Yeah, that was just so fun. I had to repurpose that. So that was a promo repurposed into a countdown, because countdowns are really important. And StreamYard comes with a countdown. So that's nice. So if you're not able to create your own countdown, at least there's one there for you, which is good to know. What are your recommendations for a countdown? Should be at least how long? What do you think, Tristan?
It depends on your style of show and your audience. It'll be different for everybody. I think that going in quite quickly on a live stream, the big challenge that most people had when live streaming first became a thing was that they would wait until a few people join. But you have to remember there's two audiences. There's your live audience and there's your replay audience. If you spend 5 minutes waiting for people to come in, the replay viewers can jump past the 5 minutes, but you've got to think you're making it an extra job for them to enjoy your stream. Like I literally open my live streams, I'm straight in, and I talk about what I've got to talk about. I recap, I remind people to interact whether they're on the live or on the replay, and to let me know in the comments if they are, because that's engagement so that you can go and chat and connect with the people afterwards. But I think like StreamYard comes with a built-in 30-second one on there, has done for us such a long time. I think that's a good chance, because just when you're getting ready and it's like we were chatting and we're like, oh, it's showtime, we should go live. Being able to do it, those last couple of bits, just having that sip of water, getting, you know, those bits while the timer's up, you just compose yourself, get yourself ready to do the live. So I think 30 seconds, a minute maybe, because what some people do with the timer, and this is actually a really smart use of the timer, is if you made it longer, say you've got a bigger audience and you do a 2-minute intro, it means while that timer's going down, people have already commented. The comments we're bringing in, you could bring them in over the, like at that point. So you can start going, okay, hold on. What if we
could be showing comments.
Yeah. So what if we start thinking about,
never thought about
looking through the comments and deciding which ones you're going to have, marking them to come back to them later, because you've usually got them. If it's been scheduled through StreamYard, people can comment from when it's been done. And obviously so even before you go live, we had a list of comments before we even started the live. So
okay. So I'm doing 10 seconds. So do you think that's too short?
No, like to be fair, I don't do a timer at all. I just go straight in. I'm straight in. My mum has a pre-roll. If you've seen my mum, she's for one of her birthdays. I didn't tell her. I just literally logged into her StreamYard account and uploaded this video, and then rang her at 5 to 10 before she went live on it. By the way, you've got a pre-roll. It's in your video section. And like, she didn't even know. So she saw it for the first time at the same time as everyone else. And all I did was take lots of her previous live streams and cut the best bits. It was like, hey, I'm Lynn, Go Live Granny, and her picking up an award for being the local one-woman local tourist board, as she's being called at the awards ceremony. So all the best bits, and that's what repurposing. Remember that when you go live, it doesn't end when you hit that end button. You can repurpose it. You can get pieces of content out of it. In fact, when you repurpose it at a really high level, you start to get loads and loads of stuff out of it. You could do one live stream and literally fill out your social calendar for the month if you know how to do it and you do it right.
Right. That's great. And I love that your mom is an example of ageism is not an issue with live streaming. Anybody can go live. Anybody can learn this. And this is one of the reasons why I like StreamYard, because I'm so into easy peasy. And I looked at some other programs, and I never, ever diss other programs. If you're using another program, that's perfectly okay. But I like this because I didn't have to really think too hard. It's really straightforward. And I really like that StreamYard out of the box has enough assets in terms of backgrounds, and, you know, that they give free assets. You know, you can have the duck jumping around and doing all sorts of different things. And they had things for holidays. I like that there's enough that if you're not creative and you're not like a Canva Pro user like me, that you could still just jump in and get cracking. And I think that's very important.
To give context, my mum turns 72 in about 2 weeks' time. So if people say, oh, it's easy for you, you know, you're younger, you're on the socials. I'm like, meet my mum. She actually live streams more than I do. So there's no excuse.
Love it.
So yeah, get rid of the excuses. But yeah, I'm sure there's loads of questions. I'm going to let you fire through.
Okay. Sorry to miss today. Work calls. I hope she gets the replay. Can you talk about the intersection configuration, StreamYard, live events, LinkedIn company pages? Okay. I'm going to give this one to you.
So I don't actually do much into live events on LinkedIn. I tend to go live stream through my own profile, but I know that you might be able to talk into this because obviously you do these into an event as well. So when you set up these events and you've got it, These actually might be. I'm gonna throw this back at you, Gillian, because I know you do.
Okay, so I can't speak for company pages. Michelle J. Raymond, she is the go-to for that, and especially in terms of she is a power user of doing LinkedIn Lives and using StreamYard through her company page, and she does tons. So she is the go-to person for that. However, what I have found is it is much easier if I schedule all of my events, because I go from my LinkedIn profile. So that's primarily where I'm heading. And then I just add on YouTube. But I do all my scheduling through StreamYard, and I do my scheduling in advance. And I have found that trying to do the LinkedIn Live event first, then going back and scheduling and adding it to StreamYard, it's just too confusing. And I just don't really like how LinkedIn Live events work with the scheduling part. The thing that I have found, though, is that you do need to go in and literally copy and paste your post. So what happens is you schedule your event, it goes to your profile as a LinkedIn post, but then you have to copy that, click on your post, and now you're in a blank event, which has all the time, but it has no description. So paste in your description and then add your speakers, and then get your speakers, the people who are going to speak at your event, get them to go ahead and accept the notification. They're going to get a speaker notification. If they don't do that step, they don't show up. You see it as pending, but no one else sees it but you. So that's a really important step. So I hope I've interpreted the question correctly and given a satisfactory answer. If not, circle back and we'll try again. Our buddy. Hi both. It's Lord John. Hi both. Gillian and Tristan are pros with StreamYard. I've got this little thing. I'm sure this is going to help anyone who wants to do live streaming. We really hope so, because there is lots of room for this. And as Tristan says, the content you can create after from a live stream. I'm actually at a point now as a video, LinkedIn video marketing coach. I actually would say if somebody wanted to get started with video, I would tell them do live streaming first, because there's an energy to going live. You can set up StreamYard to do record only. So you don't even have to go live. You could just come here and do a record only session, and you could show your PowerPoint.
Do you want to show this, Gillian? Do you want to do my screen share, and I'll quickly just show people how to do it really quickly.
Let's opt that out.
In case anyone's not done it before. So obviously on the screen here, I've obviously got, this is just in my StreamYard studio. And then you've got the create broadcast button. So I can literally just click on this and go into a new broadcast. You'll see the one underneath it says use a pre-recorded broadcast. So what we were talking about, my mum having a bad signal, she could record it, and then later she could use that video and put that as the stream so that it goes out at a different time. Obviously, once she's back, uploaded it and things. But for this, we're going to go new broadcast. And when you click it, you get a little pop-up which gives you all the socials that you go to. Again, I'll just quickly click a few here so that we can see.
That's a lot.
Again, saying about the number that you can go to. So there you go. We're there. If I go one more, it will say, oh, you've hit 8. You can actually do more than 8, but you've got to contact StreamYard to get it set up. 8 is the default for everybody because, of course, they build for ease of use for the common users. Obviously, that's going to social platforms. What Gillian was talking about doing the record, I actually have a power usage of this. So this record only, big button on the right-hand side. Obviously, you give it a title and you just put it in. So I just put demo recording and then you hit create broadcast. And what it does is it will take you into the studio. So the studio that Gillian and I are now in live streaming, you'll see it takes you into the studio, set up your microphone and camera and everything, and enter the studio. That basically will mean that you can go and do that live, that recording straight away. So you might pre-record it. For example, I am obviously not at home right now. I'm currently in Edinburgh. I actually had to rearrange my day because I made a mistake and booked to go to Edinburgh Fringe. Even though I had it in my calendar, in a rush, I booked all our tickets, and the first show is tonight that we're going to. So I had to leave earlier to get here to set up to go live properly with all the stuff because we're doing a demo. Normally, I'd just join on my phone, because we were doing a demo, and then just to do that now. But if, for example, I did every day at 6 o'clock and one day I couldn't do it, I could record it at midday, set it up as a pre-recorded, and then get it to go live as a live stream. So I could do it that way to get around it. So there's different ways to do it, but that's how you go in to do it, to set it up, and to do a pre-record. My power usage for this is I actually do coaching and mentoring around social media and repurposing. I do my meetings in StreamYard. So I do calls in StreamYard and I go record only. And when I tell people, I say, are you okay with it being recorded? What I'm doing is I'm documenting it for you to come back and use it as a reference point. So you can, if you think, oh, Tristan said something, I can't remember what it was, you've got the recording of the call, you can go back to it. So of course I'm providing them that as a resource. Again, in our agency, we talk about digital asset creation all the time. Everything that you create that serves the business for longer than the time it takes to create is a digital asset. And every live stream, every recording is a digital asset if you know how to use it. A lot of people don't treat it that way. They just do a live and set and forget. But when you don't know about live and recording, they become so much more powerful. But yeah, that's just a quick demo of how to get it set up.
And when you actually, go into the recording studio, you can do you by yourself. You can do, I'll get back to us. You can do you by yourself. You can do, sharing your screen with your slides. You have all the same layouts. You could have multiple people. You can do all sorts of different things. So it's really, really handy. The only thing is, the first time I did it, it was like, I thought, am I live? Because you still hit a go live button, but it's like, it really is saying it's recorded. So just look up at the top corner and then you know that you're recording, because that would be a terrible mistake. And another thing too is you can also record. You can also not record, but you can go live to on YouTube to a private place. That would be nice. Like you can do to your private, on private on YouTube, or unlisted or public. You have 3 options on YouTube. It would be nice if we could do that in LinkedIn, but that's LinkedIn. That's not StreamYard. So it would be nice if we could go to like a private group, that would be awesome. But we don't have that, but that's LinkedIn. That's LinkedIn, correct?
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's like we do, like I have, when you saw those things come up, as I clicked through and picked some of them, some of those are private Facebook groups where we teach and train people. So of course I can go live. And here's a really clever way to do it. My mum now does this, is you can use StreamYard and you can go live to multiple destinations and then you can turn one off. So I can go live. If I'm doing an hour, I can do the first 15 minutes to like my public page and my private group. And at 15 minutes in, I can say, and if you're interested, come join our free group. And then I can turn the public one off. And if you want to join it, you have to go to the group. So it's a good way to drive traffic and move people to where you want to move them to. Obviously, try and keep it in the same platform. But if you can move them from your public page into a private group, they're now part of your community. So,
okay, so here's a really dumb question, but other people might be thinking it too. When you're going live to multiple places, does this affect your resources, the internet resources you're using? So if I'm co-streaming to, 3 Facebook groups and this and that, I'm not actually logging into those. StreamYard's doing all the heavy lifting, right? It's just one stream up is being spread to multiple places. It's not taxing my resources to co-stream to multiple places, correct?
Yeah, so you do one connection from you to StreamYard, and StreamYard then does the multicast part, so going out to the different platforms. So the only bit that puts the strain on your resources is if you have multiple cameras and things coming in. So if you've got one Wi-Fi, to give context to all of mine, my computer is on a hotspot, because the Wi-Fi in the place I'm staying was not great. So always check it. So that's on a hotspot from one of the mobiles, and both the mobiles are on their own connections independently. So they're not on Wi-Fi, they're just running on their cellular data. So they're all on a different internet connection. So I said to Gillian earlier, if any of my cameras freeze, just take over, give me 2 minutes and I can swap it. So I can change the internet connection and put the camera back on. Obviously, when you're co-hosting, with StreamYard, that's the good thing about doing lives together with someone, is Gillian could literally go full screen. I can get up, move things around. Like literally, we could have started with all the cameras. Gillian could have talked and we could have moved them all again and brought me back. And you'd be like, hey, it's like 7 cameras. All I've done is move them, right? While you can't see them. Obviously, bit of a logistical nightmare to do, but there's so much you can do with it at the advanced level. Like people who want to get to the really advanced level, we're going to probably end up having to do a super advanced a revisit for the advanced stuff. But it's good to know what you can do, just so that you know where you can go after.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for being here today. So excited for this show. I need to learn how to flip the camera in StreamYard. So is that something possible that you could just start off in selfie mode and flip it? I don't even know how to do that just filming. So
I'm pretty sure you can, and Julie can confirm this, because I usually go live from the studio with other cameras. I do it from the mobile. It's a couple of layers deep. So yeah, I think you have to go into your camera settings. So you have to do the pop-up, and then you have to click on the camera and then change it from front camera to back camera, and then come out, and it would have changed. Obviously, you can't see your screen while you're doing that because the pop-up comes up over it. But I'm pretty sure, I'm like 98% sure that you can do it. It's just not like you can't just double tap and have it switch.
Right.
But
I would be showing my I would be showing my shoes or my dog or something if I was doing this. Yeah. Love the t-shirt.
The one reason that obviously StreamYard build for ease of use, and in your head you might say ease of use is double tap the screen to flip it, but the problem is you could easily double tap the screen by accident in the middle of a stream. You know, if your phone slipped or something and you grabbed it, you can flip the camera and then you'll get confused. So they're building it for all eventualities. So you can, I'm pretty sure you can do it, and I'm sure Julie will confirm in the comments, but it would be a couple of layers deep if you change it.
Right.
If I had a spare phone with StreamYard open, I would do it, but they're all everywhere around the room at the moment. So.
Exactly. Tuning in from the Barbados. Woo-hoo-hoo. Tristan cubed. Hi, all joining Making Dinner. I knew Tristan was part of Triplets. Okay, what's up? Okay, John. Okay, I'm zipping down for
Julie
questions.
Has confirmed, by the way, that you can flip it on mobile, but you do have to go through the settings. So I was right. I was sure I'd written it in the manual somewhere.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, I've heard roadcasters are amazing. It's on my wish list. I know a lot of people are getting those, so it's amazing. And so, you actually have another piece of equipment. If we have time, we can talk about the Stream Deck. What that is, because that's kind of like, wow, that's amazing. So
just quickly, Gillian, the roadcaster context is it's a professional piece of kit. It's like in the UK, it's like £400, so like $600, I guess. So like that's why you do it at the next level. You wouldn't start with it. A lot of people wait to get the equipment, but you've got a mobile that's good enough to go live. StreamYard takes you up like loads of levels quickly because of all the features it gives you. For things like this, you're looking at when you're doing a lot of lives, when you're professionally producing, when you're repurposing. That's the time to buy.
Yeah. And you know, anybody who's just starting, if you're a newbie, just know that, you know, even the fact that if you're on the first plan, like I'm on the first plan, I'm on like a crazy Black Friday plan. So it's like, I'm on this like first level up plan. And with mine, I am streaming at 720p, which is not high definition. It's just having a regular webcam is enough. I could have the fanciest webcam, but it's not necessarily going to help me. So just sometimes you don't want to overdo it with having, I got to go, I'm going to wait and do live streaming in 2023 because then I can save up to buy the Roadcaster and the Stream Master and the Wave Master and all these masters.
I've just seen Viveka's just put $600 fancy pants. I won't tell her that this is my second one that I take on the road then. Because it's all wired around my desk. I don't want to have to move it. It's quite easy to move and unplug. But for me, I've got a standing desk and everything's wired through the legs. So I would have to take it all apart. Right.
So, you know, but it is true that probably one of the most important things is to have a good microphone, wear earphones, because otherwise you get that sort of echo and the feedback and that sort of thing. So it's really important. So if you're like me and you don't want to fuss with your hair, just wear earbuds, AirPods. I found the mic in the AirPods wasn't good enough, so I've got the Yeti mic in. So having a good quality microphone is good. And then I just have a Logitech 920. It's like really basic.
What you just said about the AirPods is really important, because people think it's good, but they don't go back and review their own broadcast. If they watched one back, they'd say, I'd never do it again. When we set up, because I jumped in and Gillian joined me in the studio while I was still setting up, because of course you join, and then I was setting up the other camera. And one thing to bear in mind is you'll notice on here, on this, I've actually got a set of headphones plugged in, because on the mobile, you can't actually mute the output. So if you're using a mobile, what happens is you can turn it right down, but of course, because we're talking here, the audio from that would come out of that speaker into the microphone and create an audio loop. So if you're an Android user, a really easy tip, go to like a dollar store, a pound store, buy the cheapest headphones you can buy, cut the headphones off and keep just the jack. Because once you put it in, the phone thinks it's got headphones in, and you don't have this chaos of wires dangling everywhere. And you can just, but on the iPhone, obviously they're a bit more expensive, so I wouldn't advise buying headphones and cutting them unless you can get a cheap pair. So
wow, what a great tip. I love that. Everybody is loving your 3 camera angles. It is just amazing. Okay, question. I have a Rodecaster. Look at that. She doesn't even go live yet. So that's amazing. I have a Rodecaster. How to connect your multiple mobile phones to computer, and what mics do you recommend on the road heading on an expedition? So she's with National Geographic, so her expeditions are truly expeditions.
So there's going to be a couple of answers here. So if you're, depending where you're going, the Rodecaster isn't a small piece of kit. I don't know if you want to bring up the camera where you can see the Rodecaster, just to give context of how big it is. It's actually quite it's quite
is that big, the right one?
You can see it. Yeah, I think so. It's on there on both of them, but you could, that one's better. So you can see it's actually quite a big piece of kit. Like it's, because it's got 4 audio channels and other bits and pieces. It's a professional piece. That's why you're taking it. I actually use when I'm out on the road, and if I was live streaming and I didn't need to hear, so if I was live streaming on my own, I don't need headphones, because there's no audio coming back to me. I actually use it's escaped me. I'm going to Google it and give you the answer by the end. But there's Rode make a set of wireless mics. I think it's Wireless Go, Rode Wireless Go. They literally are like a clip, so they're a little square. They connect to each other, and you can do that, and so you can plug it in. So that's one way to do it. The context here of saying muting it, the microphone on both that one and the one at the front are muted. I'm just using the camera, so they're muted in StreamYard. They've both got headphones in to stop the output. I'm just using the camera. All the audio you're hearing is coming from this front camera. So if Gillian accidentally knocked me out in this camera, all my audio would stop, because of course it's all coming through this one connection. So the Rodecaster, literally microphones plugged in. I'm plugged in by an XLR to the back of it, which runs to the microphone that you can maybe see if I move here on this side, that should be mounted properly. But I actually demonstrate, because I teach people at all different levels, that microphone is like, I've got Yeti microphones and stuff at home. I bought a cheap eBay £25 microphone to show you don't need it, and to test how good it was and things. And this, like, I put it up and it's gold, and everyone was like, oh, it's got gold microphone. And it's like, it's a cheaper one than the one I normally use. And so actually for the last like 2 years, I haven't actually used my Yeti, just as a display thing on my shelf at the back now, I think. So
wow.
Because you're taking the Rodecaster and you're going to talk to multiple people, you need multiple mics. So you don't want to buy Yetis, because you're talking a lot more money.
And they're heavy. They're heavy.
Yeah. I mean, these mics you can probably put in a small stand. I've obviously got the swing arm for them for the desk, but you could just get a little desk mount for them which means it would be really small. You could have a small bag where your Rodecaster, 2 mics and the leads are in, and you just go. And if you're plugging the Rodecaster to the computer, is literally a USB lead. And then obviously you have to just set it up on StreamYard to bring the audio through. So it is, it's not complicated to connect and set up that bit. The microphones, if you drop me a message, I can send you a couple of links to have a look at, and then obviously compare, depends where you are in the world as well, for where you buy from. But the mic I'm currently using was like £25 to like $40. So yeah, pretty cheap.
Good. So I have the Rode lavalier mic, which I use with my iPhone. Can I get an adapter, and that kind of adapter could fit into a Rodecaster?
Yeah, so you can always adjust all microphones to fit other things. Like I have tiny connectors to huge connectors and huge backwards, because of course, and they're all in a bag that just get taken with me everywhere, because I never know what setup I'm going to end up with. Sometimes I go to events and yeah, sometimes I go to an event and I don't know what the connector will be where I'm going to, so I just need all eventualities. The Rode, what you're talking about is the Rode Smart Lav, right? The little clip one.
Yes.
So you can do that straight into
really
your phone.
good sound.
Yeah. So the reason it's good is it's got like background cancellation, similar to, you know, when you get your headphones with your smartphone, like Apple just give you well, they don't anymore, but like the wired.
No, they don't even give you those.
They don't even give you a charger anymore, but we won't go there. So those all have built-in noise cancellation because they're designed for making phone calls while you're out and about. So they're actually a good starting point. If you don't need to go and buy expensive headphones and stuff like that at the start with the ones that come with your phone and use those. But moving forwards, obviously change it. If you're using the Rode Wireless Go, the wireless little box ones, what you can do, you would actually have to set it up slightly differently, because you obviously need to be able to hear the audio. If you're talking to someone else, if you're doing something like that, you would need to adjust it. But yeah, I would suggest that they wouldn't probably be the best fit if you're in a conversational stream.
All right. Okay. And I'm already thinking we're going to end up having some sort of slider that follows up this with maybe some of the suggested equipment, so that if people didn't like, oh, which one was it that he was talking about, we'll go ahead and we'll make sure that all gets in. So yeah, that's good. That's good. Oh, let's see. Okay. We have, I don't like comments on people's faces either. That is so true. That is, now this is another StreamYard person, because I have seen her videos on YouTube, and she's constantly doing great videos explaining how StreamYard works. And by the way, everybody, StreamYard has like so many great resources that this is one of the reasons, you know, I have to be totally honest here. This is one of the reasons I really love StreamYard, because they do their town halls every Sunday, I believe at 6 o'clock. I just know Pacific time. I don't know what time that is for you, Tristan, but it's like they do their town halls. They get in, they get out.
2 a.m. every Monday. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. My goodness. I don't know how you do it, but it's really great, because Gage and Dan, who are the founders, they're young. They're so young. They're the founders. They get on, they tell you if new features are coming, what are the new features that are up, something just got released, something's coming, whatever. But they're also listening. What do you guys want? What are you confused with? Like their ears are open. And then on their YouTube channel, they have a wonderful Facebook group. I'm not really on Facebook, but they have a fabulous Facebook group where there's assets. You can ask questions. You know, you can crowdsource. Hey, what happens? How come my camera goes weird? Well, it's maybe because you wore white. You know, there's all these different great tips people share. And then their YouTube channels, I've seen them go, and so many different resources. So great stuff. Yeah. So Eileen, if I'm saying your name right, I love your videos. They're good. We love Tristan at StreamYard. Woo-hoo-hoo. It's so nice. It's so nice that they love you. This is the StreamYard community that Tristan is referring to. So everybody, if you're on Facebook, or even if you just go to Facebook for an occasional group, we won't tell anybody, go ahead and join that community. There's no community on LinkedIn. Is that correct? I wonder if we could get...
it's focused inside of Facebook, just for the functionality and bits in there. Yeah.
You could start one. I'd join it, Tristan. I'd join it.
We don't want to load an extra thing on Julie just yet.
Okay. It's so fun when people are visiting. I want the duck. That's how I felt. It's like, I love the duck. The duck is cool. The duck pillow is like, I've been coveting the duck pillow forever. So I love the duck.
If my mum got one of the ducks, it would probably be the most traveled duck for StreamYard, because she does so much traveling about for her live streams.
There we go. Could you see it? It's like the duck on the road, and it's like, here's the duck in Kilimanjaro.
I've just brought up, do you want to do the screen share? That's the Rode Wireless Go, just up on the screen at the moment. All
right.
So if you just want to do a quick screen share, just so people can see, it comes actually as the original one.
Do I have to? Okay. It's just saying remove. What do I got to do?
There you go. You got it there.
Okay. There we go.
So basically, there's there's a Rode Wireless Go and a Rode Wireless Go 2. The second one comes with 2 microphones, so you can put one as a transmitter and then the other 2 go as, so you could do an interview and talk to 2 different people. So it can be used like that. Obviously it's not ideal for some situations, but that's just what it is. I just wanted people to see what it was. And while you've got that screen up, I'll just quickly show the other one. Rode Smart Loud Plus. The one that Gillian was talking about, if I go into images, it's a wired microphone, tiny little thing that you can literally keep it in your pocket, so that if you're somewhere and a great opportunity comes up, boom, you just do it. And you can do interviews with these. You can get 2 and an adapter on your phone and do an interview with someone just using these as well.
That's quite brilliant. And might I just add, if you get one of these lavalier mics, go out and buy an extension, because they're not long enough. And you want to, you don't want to take the picture right up by your nose. So get an extension, and those they're cheap, and get the extension so that you've got some space, and that really makes a difference.
It's called an SC1, the extension, if anyone's looking for it.
SC1. Okay. That's great. By the way, how do you get your screens up and we don't get the telescopic effect? Is it because you brought it up before we went live? Because that's a horrible experience for you.
I'm actually sharing a second screen. So I'm on if you look in the back camera, I'm actually on my laptop on the table, and then I've got a TV there, which I'm using as a second monitor. So I'm actually using a second monitor. It doesn't actually have to be on the second monitor, because in StreamYard, you can share either the screen, so everything that appears on it, which is what I'm doing there, because I can change. I can actually literally change between things because I've shared the whole screen, and I can go between all the different tabs. But you can also share just a tab. So if you're on a laptop and you don't have a second screen, you can say, share my second tab. And for a second, it will jump you there just to show you that what you're looking at. And then you can click the tab for StreamYard and carry on, and it's in your stream. So you can show, if you want to show your website or show a podcast page or something like that, or for you might show how to do something on LinkedIn. You could open LinkedIn, make it the screen share on StreamYard, and then you'd go to the tab, do the things, and talk through it. Because of course it's showing in StreamYard. Nice.
The only thing is, if you go to show somebody else's stuff, sometimes you get lost. You can get lost, but I know the telescopic effect. It's like it's very dizzying, and nobody likes it. And this is probably one of the reasons why it's better to have a little bit more advanced than me, because I have a laptop. So when I go to screen share, I either have to muck with making my windows really small, or else I can't see comments. I can't see who I'm talking to. It can get just a little hairy trying to do everything from one computer, but it can be done.
I'm really quickly going to share this, Gillian, on the screen share. Someone's just said that they didn't know about the tab view. So when you go to the share at the bottom of the screen in the studio, you get these pop-ups. Now there's a few here. One is share screen, which is what we're talking about. You can also put videos, like add in extra cameras, which is fairly new, but a bit, that's advanced user stuff, and slides if you're doing a presentation. But the screen share, when you click on it, comes up and gives you share your entire screen, or you can go to window here, which obviously is a specific, you might have an application open, like my downloads folder, for example. But if you go to
or
Chrome tab,
PowerPoint.
Yeah. So if you go over to like Chrome tab, obviously I'm showing what I'm sharing. Down here at the bottom of it, there's actually a tick box that says share the audio tab. So if you wanted to show a video on a web page, you have to tick that, or no one will hear the audio. A lot of people make that mistake, bringing a page in that's got audio, playing it, they can hear it because it's on their computer, but no one on the stream actually hears the audio if that's not ticked. So make sure that you keep an eye on that.
It's kind of like Zoom. Zoom does the same thing. Thing.
So
okay, and then go ahead.
Sorry, someone actually asked about the difference between, they record their coaching sessions on Zoom, but they like the idea of doing it in StreamYard. The benefit of doing it in StreamYard is you're actually, as soon as you finish, you're getting your audio and your video. So you could go in and adjust and edit, and it's actually already hosted in the cloud for you as well. So the minute that a couple of minutes after you finish, you can take a share link and send it straight to your client. You don't have to upload it anywhere. You don't have to put it anywhere. It's already there, up to like 50 hours worth of recordings on StreamYard as part of your package.
Which is nice. And also too, if it's something that you wouldn't like for people to download, know that they can't. They can just view it. They can't download it. So that's good. Can you embed those recordings? Like, could I embed those like on in a client portal or something? From the StreamYard library?
You're asking me a thing I don't know, Gillian. I'm going to check for you.
That's okay. We'll come back to it. We have too many things. We had to stump you. I think you can embed them. Yeah,
you can.
Okay.
You can do it. So you can go in, there's an embed option. So you just literally go in and do that.
Okay. That's cool to know. And it's very interesting because the other day I was experimenting with uploading video via what you just showed, the share button, versus uploading a video clip, because you can do that as well. So for instance, the countdowns, the outros, the intros, I upload those as video clips within my brand tab. And that way, when they play full screen with the audio, and it mutes us. It mutes all the guests in the studios. Now, I wanted to show some videos, but be on the side like this. That's when you're better to upload a shared video clip. So a lot of people get confused. When would you do one versus the other? So that would be my tip. Do you have any extra tips about video? Because you could also do a screen share and share a video on YouTube as well, right? So you have a lot of different options with videos.
Yeah, you can bring it in lots of different ways. So for anyone who doesn't know how to do it, if you're in the studio, if you go into your brands tab here, there's actually, you can have all of obviously you can put your logos and stuff onto your streams. You can also then add overlays. So obviously these ones wouldn't go together, but you can have an overlay so you can change it and adjust it. I use this color styling for when I've got two people on screen. Then down here, obviously you've got the video clips, which, we were talking about the countdown timers, for example. Like if I don't know how we're sharing this, so I won't click it because of the audio, but if I click this, it would play. I don't know if we're sharing audio. So if I click this, I'll do it really quickly. It will basically do the countdown. So, and then it will end itself and take it off, or you can take it off. That's what Gillian's talking about, is putting the video here. If you were someone who was running a conference or something through here, obviously Hopin that bought StreamYard is a great solution, but say you're not quite at that level, or you're not ready to do that, you're just doing a stream, it's going somewhere and people are signed up. If you wanted to, say the event starts at 10 o'clock, but you want people to know they can get on, that they've accessed it properly, you could create a 15-minute video, put it in and loop it, because there's a loop option just above the video, so you can have it looping. And then when you get to playing, obviously you stop it and you do your pre-roll and then you start. So that's a really good use of that. And they obviously got audio stuff as well, but again, a bit more advanced stuff there as well.
Yes. Yes. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So let's see where we're at. We're almost at the top of the hour. We actually are, but let's just, I'm just looking here to see if there's any specific questions. Now you can pin comments. I haven't done it yet because it's really, if you're not a person who multitasks really good. And this is actually why you might want to consider an admin. And that's one thing that you can do in StreamYard. And just very quickly, Tristan, what can an admin can be behind the scenes and not necessarily, they can just always be in that sort of green room. I don't know if we even shared your screen that you can see that there's a green room. How many people can you have in the green room? Is that the same as the number you can have on screen or not?
So no, you can actually go to, depending on which plan you're on, depends on the number you can have in there, but the most you can have is 12 people behind the scenes. So in the panel
that's
at the
the
bottom,
green room, right?
And then you can have 10.
Okay.
You're asking, I think it's 10 on screen, 10 on screen and 12 in the bottom. I'm sure Julie will correct me if I've, again, I don't tend to go to doing as many as that because I tend to do teaching and training. I have actually.
And then if you have an admin, they could spend the whole show behind the scenes. They're in the green room. You don't hear them. So until they're added to the stream, they could be yakking. And there's even a chat. There's even a chat within StreamYard. So the admin could say, okay, you've got a lot of questions. How about you stop talking now and go to the questions? And the admin could be pinning the questions through the comments so that you know, ooh, I need to take care of this one. And that's not what Gillian's doing today because she's just scrolling through the comments.
So I know that we're coming in on the top of the hour. I was going to really quickly, do you want me to do a top to bottom, beginner to advanced in about 5 minutes?
Yep. So why don't you sum it up?
So basically, live streaming is going to give you a connection with an audience that you don't get through recorded video. Have a look at starting out. Don't overcomplicate it. If you've only got a mobile, you can go live straight away. You can obviously go live straight on the platforms, but using something like StreamYard, it's going to allow you to do multiple different locations. It's going to back it up. It's going to give you loads more features and functionality that we've obviously talked about over the last hour. If you're obviously at a computer and things like that, again, don't need to overcomplicate it. This is literally the webcam on my computer. I cry about it because I normally have a much more expensive, nicer camera ready set there. But obviously, I've used my mobiles, so you've seen what that looks like, and it's there. I'm using them as additional cameras, but that might just be your main camera that you're using. Obviously, what we want to do is get you from not doing video to doing video and moving from doing video to making the most of it and creating digital assets. Those digital assets are things that are going to serve your business far longer than the time they take to create. So if you did a 15-minute video, for example, and you did a live, how you structure it and how you show up will determine how much you can get out of it. So if you wanted to get the most out of a live stream, you would plan it. You would obviously schedule it so that people know it's coming and they're going to be there. And then when you actually live stream, you'll notice Gillian and I talk about a topic, bring in some comments, talk about a topic, bring in some comments. Depending on the nature of your live stream, ours was a Q&A, so obviously it's very different, but you might want to do a bit of chatting to people at the beginning, your content, and then chatting to people at the end. It makes it easy to take the bit of educational content out later to repurpose. Maybe you're going to use it for a training course. Maybe you're going to use it, cut pieces out to use later. It's really easy. Those who have watched me before will know why I'm drinking water from 2 different containers. If I want to cut a piece of video out of this, I don't want to watch the hour back and find it or have an editor do that. They're both water. It's the same drink. But as I said about Gillian's StreamYard one, I would have a normal one. And then when I bring this in, it's actually a visual cue. No one watching is going to notice that. But when I bring this in, the editor can just watch for this coming on the screen. And it means edit the bit that happened just before this. So you can make visual cues for it. Have you still got my screen share on the studio? Because I've got a graphic that literally breaks this down top to bottom to get the most out of doing any video. And obviously we're talking live stream. This is literally how we do content to do I said a whole month from 15 minutes. So we plan, work out the video topic and come up with what people are looking for. So based on actual research, you create the video or you do a live stream. We're obviously talking about live today, which can be multiple places. So you're reaching lots of people on video already. If you take what you said in that, which obviously be a transcript of it or your subtitles or whatever, however you're doing that, you've written a blog. So if you've already said it, most people type at 45 words a minute and they talk at about, I think it's 120. I talk at about 200. So overachiever. But you take that and it means if you do a 3-minute video, you're doing a 500 word blog, basically, 400 to 500 words. Put it out. Facebook, you can put it out as a really long Facebook post, a LinkedIn article or newsletter, on your website, on Medium, on Google My Business, on industry websites. So if you're part of a chamber of commerce or a business networking, and you can put it there. So your one video has already become 7 things just in the blog. If you then pull every 3 minutes of video, this is from research of what we do as an agency, most people, again, depends on the quality of the content, 3 minutes of video will give you 5 what we call tweetables, so short quotes or things you can take out that will make people go, what's that about, and try and find out more. You can obviously turn those into graphics, put them out on Twitter, put them in Instagram. You've seen the inspirational quotes type stuff, that kind of thing. Go to Facebook, go to LinkedIn, go to, you can put them out on Instagram if you're going to the graphics side as well. Think about the short pieces of what we said. I've said, start where you are, use your mobile phone. When you're ready, level up to this. If it's a 10 to 15 second clip, it can go in your stories. So you're looking at then TikTok and you're looking at Snapchat and you're looking at Facebook stories and Instagram and everything. So you're creating, you haven't done any more work other than reuse what you already did to drive people back to the original thing. I know this is a bugbear for Gillian and it is for me as well. Most places where you go live, you can add the subtitles retrospectively to make them right because they're good, but they're not quite right and you can correct them. LinkedIn doesn't allow that just yet, but it will be, I'm sure it'll be something that's coming like not too distant future where you can add them afterwards to correct. It does it live while you're on, but that's it. You can't change it. Other platforms allow you to change it. We talked about StreamYard and getting the audio from your live. That's a podcast. You don't have to pay to set up a podcast. You can use something like anchor.fm. That is owned by
using
Spotify.
it. I love it.
So Spotify bought it, which means it's a free place to upload your podcast. That means that you literally have a podcast for free on Spotify and syndicated across the different platforms from content that you've already done. You can go to those fancy animations and stuff. This is the really highest level of what you get. But what I'm saying here is if you did 30 minutes of video, 30 minutes of good educational video, you would fill all of your social feed when you repurpose it. So planning it, knowing what you're doing, like Gillian and I talk about this all the time because Gillian's probably waiting to see what my September topic is because I tend to do a month and go, here's my topic and I'm going to talk about this. And I go for a month talking about a specific topic and I go in and I explain and you can follow it via a hashtag and you can go and do that kind of thing. Make it easy for people to find. Like the more places we talk about this, everything you see on screen as touch points. You don't care where someone finds you. They're either recommended, they see something, they heard about you, they met you at networking. You're just giving them more places to connect with you. And all you did was the video or the live video and then were intelligent about how you used it. And that's the really important bit is be intelligent about how you do it, repurpose it, upcycle it, recycle it, revisit it. And when you get to really high level, in 5 years' time, you'll say, do you remember 5 years ago when I said this? And you'll pull up a clip. It's exactly what Gary Vee does. It's just that he's organized enough and has now obviously a team that help with it. But it's organized and it's archived and you can go back to it. Someone mentioned about saving their clips into like OneDrive and things like that. We use Google Drive, Google Photos, because it helps us to find and search for things really, really quickly. So that's it. About 5 minutes, I think I was. So literally start to finish, start on your phone, level up, look at software, then look at equipment, audio first, then visual, and then always repurpose. Even from when you first start with your phone, look at repurposing first because it gives you the most for your time.
Yep.
And that's a black one for an edit.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And the only thing that I would add is that when I started with StreamYard, I went on the free program because I thought I just want to get my sea legs and figure out if I can do this or not. And then I did upgrade, and I did get the purchase plan, but you cannot get your clips out of LinkedIn. There you just can't download them later. So that was the only thing that, like, if you're going to do this and you do want to do all this repurposing, you can't do it on the free program because there's no way to get your clips. So that's just one thing. And, you know, it's not like, oh, I'm going to upgrade, so now StreamYard will have all my clips. No, there's no recording. So that's the one thing. It's heartbreaking. I lost my first 18 lives because it took me that long. I think it was 18. It could have been 8. I don't know. But
that sounds like a
something.
challenge for me, Gillian. I bet you I can find them and get them for you.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think so. I don't think so. Even John couldn't figure it out. So there you go. But anyways, this is awesome. This is awesome.
A couple of people mentioned about the graphic and stuff. If anyone wants a copy of the graphic, I'm happy to send it out. Like, I literally run a 6-hour free training on it. So I'm guessing if we ever come back, Gillian, it'll probably be talking repurposing because we've now bounced from one to another. But yeah, if anyone wants a copy of the graphic, obviously I'll send it to you, Gillian, and you can pop it up and make it.
Well, and there's also something psychological about when you come and you do a live. You are so focused on getting your live going and responding to the audience. You're not sitting here going, oh, I wonder if I don't look good. Like, you just don't even have time for that. So you just get out, your natural, authentic personality comes on. You can't retake. We can't say, oh, wait a minute, I shouldn't have said that. You have to just keep rolling. So in essence, for people who are struggling to get on camera, that's why I recommend go live first, because you're building your network and growing your content bucket simultaneously. It's a fabulous way to level up your own presence on social. So just love it. Just love it.
I hate to leave an open loop, so I'm going to close the loop that I left right at the beginning. I talked about I had 2 mobile phones on my front tripod, and one of them is a camera. The second one is creating more content for me in the same amount of time. So if you have an old spare mobile phone, stick it on a tripod. Even Gillian and I joke about this, pop it in a cup so it stands up, record a time lapse. If you're recording in landscape, record it in portrait as well so that you don't have to re-edit it. If you're going to use it for stories and if you've got a spare phone, just record it on the phone, and then you've got it already in portrait for when you want to use it later. So think about how you can use it to do something else. So that is literally a time lapse of me flapping my arms about all over the place talking for the last hour and a bit.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay. Well, we probably should end up now because we've gone a little over time, not too much, but it has been absolutely, this is a masterclass. Like, I have just learned so much from being with you today, Tristan. Thank you for sharing the depth and breadth of your knowledge. And this has just been awesome. So we might have to do, maybe in a couple months, we'll come back and we'll do level up, level up squared or something.
What to do once you've leveled.
Yeah. And maybe even just talking about how you could do an entire virtual event. You could think about having multiple speakers, and maybe instead of going and doing a conference in like California, you might just want to get your speakers to do the recorded parts, bring it into StreamYard. How would you connect that? And when do you need Hopin? Like that's an interesting thing too. Yeah. So I don't have Hopin. So those are all great things. So thank you, Tristan. I'll let you do the close. Is there any final words of wisdom you want to just leave everybody with?
The most important thing is getting started where you are and then look at leveling up. This whole hour has been about leveling up and answering your questions, but leveling up from not doing anything is getting started. Once you're doing it, then start looking at the equipment and the softwares and things. Don't let that be the reason you're not doing it. Everybody's got something to share. Everybody's got an audience. You're just not finding them because you're not showing up yet.
Yeah. Okay. That's great. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us today, and we'll hopefully see you again. We will continue to monitor the comments. And we will for the replay. So everybody just keep putting your questions in, and we'll just keep getting stuck in with some answers. Okay, bye everybody.
See you later.